Hi, Nick and Alex. It's Gabrielle Jean. Um, I think you both remember me, hopefully, from many years ago when I lived in Boston. So I've been meaning to make this little video for you guys for a while. I know that in the midst of great tragedy, is often when you get an influx of support, which is wonderful, and friends reach out and colleagues reach out and all of that. But it's often, in my experience, it's often a bit later that the reality kind of sets in, and a lot of people sort of drift off at that point. And so I just have, again, really wanted to reach out to you guys and say how terribly sorry I am about the fire that decimated the store. I heard about it, whether it must have been on Instagram or from your newsletter. And I was so sad for you guys. I'm so sad for all of us, but mostly you guys. So this is me. I live in Australia now. And I thought I'd make you a little video to try to cheer you up and remind you to keep persevering. So, you might remember I first met you guys after I first got certified diving in Boston, like around 2013, I want to say, at a place called, again, I want to say United Divers. I don't know if that's real or not, or my memory, but got my open water, did a few dives, and then discovered your shop or your store, and more importantly, Nick and Alex and the ECD team. And I started buying all my gear from you guys, which is still a thing at this point. But I have a little goodies to show you guys that I thought maybe would cheer you up a little bit. I sent a snap of this to Alex the other day, but bear with me, I'm gonna have to move. Sorry, my messy house. So I have coffee every morning like any normal human, and this is my little coffee station. Sorry for my horrible videographer skills, but look at this guy. This is my coffee pod jar. And this sticker is circa, I want to say 2015. So that little jar has been literally all around the world with me. And I'm not a sticker girl. Like, I'm not one of those people who, has a van and puts those like sticker van families on the back. Like, ugh, yuck, never. But, so that's the one sticker. So you should automatically assume that that's high praise. High praise. If Gabby has a sticker of ECD, it's legit, right? So it got me thinking about why I was so upset about what happened to you guys. And so okay, don't judge me for this, but I'm one of those very nerdy divers who loves to write her dive logs. I have many of them, and I still write them. I know, shocking. But this is a prime example of why I still write them. Because you can look back and you can say, what was I doing circa October 2016? I wonder. Well, you might see from here, I was in Micronesia on the Odyssey in Truck Lagoon on a voyage with you guys. Dive number, 65. Oh my God, I was a baby. I had no idea what I was doing. I was a baby. I went on that trip with my then husband, no longer my husband, who I basically divorced because he became an underwater photographer and like the worst dive buddy ever. So yeah, that was the end of that. But I started reading some of these old logs, and there's some nuggets of gold in here about you guys. So, I think it was this like first or second day, and mind you, I'm a baby diver at this point. I like just gotten my advanced. So in my comments I say drama right from the beginning, blah 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 blah, and I mentioned East Coast diver underwater chatter, in parentheses Nick and Alex. You guys always seem to be Nick and Alex, not just Alex or Nick, but a pair. And that was my first experience with like just talking underwater. So fun, right? Like so nice. Language unto its own. And I talk about how my mouthpiece really hurt. Apparently I have a very sensitive mouth or something. I don't know, that's weird. And my dive light failed. And then the next day, which is here, and I'll show you, I have this addendum, which I'll read in a second. But I go on to say, dive was amazing, merchant, Japanese merchant, hospital ships, 500 feet plus, blah, blah, blah. And then I talk about how I had computer problems and I kept hitting no deco without warning and all this stuff. And then I have a little note, consult with Nick and Alex, which I did, I remember doing. And I think it was Alex who was like, oh, I've got a spare shear water. Why don't you, dive with this just, as backup. Moving on, that solved that problem. That was great. I also note that Nick and Alex, I also specify East Coast divers, Boston, switched out. You somehow had this spare mouthpiece. I didn't even know that was a thing in my dive career at that time, that you could you have different size mouthpieces. So you guys did that for me, and my, reg was amazing after that, and no, ouchy chompy after that. Yeah, and then, I just mentioned you guys a lot in here. It talks a lot about me having fun learning from you guys. I eventually start calling you N+A because I kept writing Nick and Alex so much. So you got abbreviated, which is also, a term of endearment. Anyways, and I go on to talk about how one of you lent me what remains my top 3 favorite dive accessories. This guy, right? How cool is that? By the way, this is my 3rd iteration. I've been through 3 of these since then. But this just makes me feel like a baller. I'm like, yes, dive. I can see everything. I'm amazing. And then I also discovered, this is so funny. I went looking for this. I have this from our trip. I can't watch it because I don't have a DVD player anymore, but I have it, and that's the important thing. That's my travel library over there. I have a real library, but that's just for my adventures, and it's on there. So I thought you would like that. And also shout out to Mike, because as I mentioned earlier, I still get all my gear from you guys. We have dive shops down under, but we don't have you guys down under. We don't have ECD down under. And I just don't trust, these dodgy little dive shops down here. So I still reach out to you for all my new gear. And I believe it was Mike on my last dive trip in January this year, made me this wonderful custom bungee, which I'm obsessed with. We had a ripping current in Raja Ampat at the time, and everybody else was flailing around I don't even know what, and I was the only one. I had my good bungee, and it was good. So thank you, Mike. Anyways, all of this is just to say you guys are really something special, and your shop, not the building, not the business, but your community that you've created is really, really, really important. And it's stuck with people like me for 15 years on. So yeah, I just wanted to say cheers to you guys. I hope you're keeping, your chin up. And I know this is a really hard time. I can only imagine. I would have offered more to help, but I'm a little bit logistically challenged. I'll probably make it out to Boston at some point in the near future, and I'll come visit. But yeah, I just wanted to send some love from afar because, again, you guys have just been always amazing, always there to answer questions. And Yeah, and that Truck Lagoon trip that we did over 10 years ago was, I believe, in my opinion, the trip that made me the diver that I am today, which is safe, adventurous, safe, with lots of gadgets. So, anyways, I hope this brightens your day a little bit. I hope it's not weird, but I just, wanted to say hi. Keep going strong, rebuild. I'll be there. ECD loyal customer forever. And sending all my love from Australia. Keep diving, keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully I'll see you guys soon at some point. Bye.